All right. We are live. Welcome to the 80s Anime Playlist Podcast. My name is Griffin. I'm your host. Today we have a very special guest from one of my favorite podcasts. I am an often viewer, often commenter, huge fan. River the Flow God.
Hello. How's it going?
Yeah. River makes a
Glad
great
to be here.
product.
Glad to be here.
Oh, we already got one viewer. That's cool. Yeah,
What's
haven't
good,
heard River.
Alex? What's good?
What's
What's good?
good? What's good? Yeah, so River watched Akira for the first time today.
I
And
did.
Akira is one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite anime movies of all time. It often fights between Akira and Metropolis um, for like my favorite anime movie because they're both sci-fi, they're both really interesting, they both deal with a lot of themes. So I think we're gonna take it in like the regular fashion that we do. First, talk about like the film a little bit, then go through like a general plot discussion, and as we talk, ideas and things will come up. Um, how do you feel about that, River?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Let's do it. All right, I'm pulling up my notes.
All right.
All right, we got two texts. Um, all right, so this film is based on a manga by Katsuhiro Otomo, which I have read for a long time. It was my favorite manga. And one thing you got to know about the manga and about the film is that both move at a blistering fast pace. Would you agree with that, River?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you really don't get a second break. It's like from the first second you enter the movie, it's like till the end of it. It's just constant action. Something's going on. Something important's happening. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. And this is going to be hard to believe, but the manga actually moves faster than the movie.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like they probably had to tune it down a little bit because it would have been pretty impossible to keep up. Like, unless you're like rewinding it and stuff like that, if it would have been any quicker. So I can understand it. I can understand it.
absolutely. And we're going to get into some manga anime comparisons, if that's cool with you, because to me, that's like one of my favorite things to do. Oh, wait, I'm going to exit full screen so I can see the comments. Um, Here, wait, damn, late by 5 minutes. I got to show the comments. Alex, it's okay. This is a completely different podcast. You can do whatever you want. You know?
It's only fair because they always get on me for being late. So they got to get on other people. At least people are getting on you too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought he was saying he was late. I was like, that's fine. No. Yeah, we were late. So,
I
whatever.
don't know. Maybe we were. Were we late 5 minutes? I guess.
I don't know. We didn't really schedule it ahead of time. We just kind of roll with it at this podcast. We just kind of have fun.
Yeah. Shut up, Alex. No one cares.
Johnny Youngbotch. Is that an inside joke? What does that mean?
I think he's talking about one of the voice actors, maybe from the show, or from the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I
Not
think that
familiar.
might be one of the English voice actors. But here's a fun fact about one of the Japanese voice actors. The Japanese voice actor for Tetsuo is also the Japanese voice actor for Yusuke Urameshi.
Yeah. I got that. I think.
Yeah,
No, I didn't.
yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch you and Doe. Never mind. I don't know why I'm saying that. I mean, I didn't watch it in sub. I don't know why I'm saying that.
I do
Anyways,
this thing in anime where I switch between dub and sub, just
right.
depending on like what I want to.
Fair
It's
enough.
cool. So basically, the reason why I wanted to watch this movie as a kid was I was a huge Naruto fan growing up, and in the liner notes and like the author notes in the Naruto manga, Masashi Kishimoto talks about how growing up he read Akira, and that's what inspired him to write Naruto. So I was always like, I gotta read Akira. And
Right.
so when I heard Akira was the movie, and it was what got big in the West, made anime big in the West, I was like, I gotta see this. Um, and so basically, that's what in high school I watched this movie, and it's what rejuvenated my love of anime.
Okay. That's dope. Um, as a big Naruto fan myself, that is pretty interesting. That it is cool that that connects like that. With Kishimoto and then how he was inspired by Akira. I mean, you don't really see the inspiration in Naruto compared to Akira, but it's still cool. It's still cool for sure.
No, you really don't, which is kind of a bummer. But like, I mean, I still love Naruto, even though on my tier
Yeah, yeah.
list I gave it a bad rating. It's like,
Where'd you put it?
oh no,
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
recall.
say. I'm not about to
I don't
say.
recall. I don't recall.
Yeah,
Um, I had to go find that after the pause over.
yeah. Like, oh my gosh, just roast me in front of everyone. Yeah.
uh,
Um. Yeah. But I grew up loving Naruto. It's just like for me, the one thing about Naruto. We should probably stick on Akira, but I'm gonna talk about like Naruto for a second. The one thing that Naruto like kind of
mm,
lost me on is the Ninja War arc.
yeah, yeah, I can see it. Definitely for me too. It's one of the worst arcs in terms of pacing and stuff like that. But I feel like it has some of the best peaks in the whole series. So it has that going for it, but just so much convoluted mess. And then
Yeah.
I don't like Kaguya either, so that would sucked. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of the same page I'm on. That's definitely the same page I'm on. But anyway, um, one sec, gotta send a quick text. People should know not to talk to me during the podcast. So let's get
Yeah,
into.
come on.
Come on.
Uh,
Anyway, let's get to the plot synopsis. So essentially,
alright,
in the opening scene, we see Kaneda, Kaneda, Tetsuo, and Kaneda and Tetsuo. Well, just Kaneda and Harukiya, the bar,
right.
and this guy comes in and he's like, "Give me some stuff," and the bartender passes him like this little thing of what I assume to be drugs. Um, and Yamagata, who's one of our other main characters, storms in and says, "Hey, the clowns are posted out." We go out. They go out. They see Tetsuo, who's essentially there's. I always debate with myself whether Tetsuo or Kaneda is the main character. What would you think, River?
I'd say Canada. I felt like it was to me. I just always kind of saw Canada as the main character while I was watching. I could see why you could see Tetsuo, but it just felt like Canada was the one that was okay. Well, no, that's not true. Like Tetsuo was the one that was driving like the plot forward, but Canada it was always kind of focused on him and like him trying to help. I guess in that frame, it didn't seem like I don't know though. So I guess you could see it either way. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, for me it was
Yeah,
Canada. For me it was Canada.
yeah, which is very interesting because we'll get to this later when we talk about K. But actually, in the manga, it's more of like a two main character type thing where both
Okay.
K and Kaneda are the main characters.
Interesting. Yes, Kay wasn't very involved, honestly, in the
Really?
movie. I felt
I felt
like
like she was.
she was, but considering in the manga it's like a two main character thing, I didn't see that
Yeah,
comparatively. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So
that is interesting.
they ride out, they fight the clowns, and so this is a really interesting scene because this is not in the manga.
Hmm.
So here's something that a lot of people talk about, and they say, and I'm gonna tell you something that might ruffle some feathers, but
I'm prepared.
whatever. I'm gonna say it. Um, People say that Akira, the movie, is based on the first. Oh wait, how many fingers am I doing? I can't even. My camera is like inverse. That's hard. The first three volumes of the manga, but that's not true. There are things that appear from volume six, things that appear from volume five, characters from volume four, things that don't happen at all. It's essentially a completely different canon.
Interesting.
So watching this will not spoil the manga for you, which is why I heavily recommend everyone watching go read that shit. Go read that shit.
So like, is the ending the same, or is it just does it add on to it after that, or like?
No, the ending is different.
Okay, okay,
It's like it's in a similar vein. I don't want to like spoil anything, but
got it.
yeah, it's not as
Okay, okay,
philosophical as the film ending. The film ending is more like open ended, like okay, like what is this philosophical meaning? What is this? It kind of
hmm
leaves us on a question, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. So in the manga, is it more like concrete, like they're kind of like showing you what did happen afterward? I guess. per se.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah. And not to mention, there's a bunch of shit that happens in the manga that just doesn't happen.
Okay.
Um, so what else? Let's keep going. So next we cut to a scene of a guy running through the streets. We see I put a note in this. One guy in the car, I noticed he had sort of pronounced lips. He looked amazing. Like that whole car scene, every detail was like super like everything looked super dirty and gritty, but at the same time it was very like outrun, you know?
Mhm,
Are you
mhm.
familiar with outrun aesthetics?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I
It's
can
sort of
explain
like
that.
it's sort of like Drive, you know? The movie Drive.
Drive. I haven't seen that either.
Oh, okay.
but
It's good stuff. So that's sort of what it is. And we see the first instances of the revolution, which is going on, and like the
right,
rebellion and sort of the terrorist attacks that are going on. Which sort of brings up an interesting like question of like there's a lot of political commentary in this film.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but at the same time, like I feel like its message is a little bit convoluted. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think, River?
yeah. I would agree with that. Like for me, I could tell that there was a lot of stuff going on, but I didn't really understand what they were specifically trying to go for, specifically trying to point out, which I feel like can be a good and a bad thing because it gives you more to think about, but it won't run the message home. So like if you don't spend extra time thinking and trying to figure out like what was going on, you're not necessarily going to know just based off face value. You kind of have to dig a little more in your mind to figure things out, which is good and I guess bad in a way. So yeah.
Yeah. Like one thing that really sticks out to me is like the brutality of the military and like the
Mhm.
military occupation of
Yeah, they made
Neotopia.
that very clear. They made that very clear. Like
Yeah.
anytime there was interaction, it was like they instantly just went to beating the crap out of. Or I don't know if I can cuss on here, but
You can
just
cuss.
like
Yeah, I don't give a
okay,
fuck.
just beating the shit out of whoever like they were coming in contact with, like the police, the military. It was just constant, just being way too violent. I'm just like, I was not necessary for what was going on, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
So
literally in that scene, which is why I brought it up in that scene with when um the guy has number 26, Takashi.
mhm.
Um or Takashi. I'll just pronounce it Americanized, no one cares. Like I'm not
uh,
Japanese. Um
facts.
Oh wait, I forgot to tweet this. Let me. Whatever. I can just tweet it real quick. No, I shouldn't do that. We're live. Let's keep going. But anyway, like they open fire on him when he has a kid with him,
Mhm.
and like I understand that like you know he had a gun, but that's just that's just absolutely like
Yeah. They shot him at least like 100 times in that scene. It was
yeah,
like crazy, crazy.
and you know it sort of it sort of shows that maybe I don't know if it's trying to make an argument that police shouldn't be armed, or like if it's trying to make an argument that the military police has too much power,
Hmm.
or like that in a fascist society, like you know, it's trying to make an anti-fascist argument. I think is probably what it's doing.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely saw the part about too much power because you can even see that as well with they're basically just taking in those kids and doing all the experiments and stuff like that, and just basically there being no really overseement to that. It's just like you have they had the meeting with the like higher powered guys. They didn't really care about anything that was going on. It was just like the money standpoint and like can this like are you messing us up? Like are you affecting us negatively with what you're doing? Like it doesn't matter like what you're doing. It's just like is it negatively affecting us from our bottom line or overall? Like so yeah, you definitely see that throughout. And then just them they basically were able to do whatever they wanted. Like there wasn't much like there wasn't much government like foreseeing on the military whatsoever.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think it's kind of like I don't know if you saw this tweet, But there's a tweet that's like every anime is in some way either for or against fascism.
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
And I don't know if I completely agree with it, but I think Akira like solidly is against fascism.
Yeah, like from I'm trying to think. I can't really think of any anime off the top of my head that's for it. Like I definitely could think of some that are against it, but for it, the only thing that always upsets me is when people try to argue this can kind of be. I always take this back to Attack on Titan 'cause I feel like people talk about it a lot. Like, oh well, they're trying to show that it's like Nazis are okay or whatever and stuff like that, and it's like, no, it's just telling a story of what happened and how it's bad. It's not like it's talking about it being good. Like, I don't know, that argument is always so stupid to me that people think that way. It's
I
just like
agree.
I've never understood it, and I feel like this probably would take back to even potentially the fascism tweet. I'm guessing that whatever anime they think is for fascism, that may be their argument is similar to that one. I don't know, but
So I've actually seen. I don't go on 4chan, but I've seen a 4chan post on Twitter that essentially argued that K-On!, which, as you know, is one of my favorite anime,
mhm.
is pro-fascism.
Interesting, interesting. Now, I
Yeah.
haven't seen K-On!, but I don't think that sounds right whatsoever.
Yeah. So essentially, let me explain. The idea is that once you have a homogenous society like you do in K-On!, and everyone is dedicated to working, everyone has jobs, essentially in the perfect fascist ecosystem.
Hmm.
Um, like
Right.
life becomes idyllic and perfect, which obviously like ignores all of the bad shit about fascism. Like
Hmm.
that's just one of the most. It's like a Swiss cheese argument,
Right.
you know.
Hmm.
But
Hmm. I get it. I get it. Just doesn't really make sense, but again, I guess that's what people are going to do is always try to have something to complain about or whatnot, or try to force something onto something that's not there in anime circles for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, anime fans are not great, to say the least.
anime fans are like, I don't want to say they're the worst, but like they're up there.
They're the worst. They're the worst. They're the worst.
They're the
I'll say it.
worst.
If you
Like,
won't say it, I'll say
okay, okay,
it.
yeah, the shit that I saw, like the shit that like women go through on Twitter from like
That's
other
ridiculous.
anime fans is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like I was seeing some of the shit, like I don't know some of the story, and like I don't know if I want to get too deep into it because like this isn't a drama podcast,
Right, right, right.
but like
Drama alert. No, I'm just kidding.
drama alert, Twitter drama,
Yeah.
Anna twist.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, Keemstar, get on the pod.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, if you want to come on, Keemstar, I mean,
yeah, Keemstar, if you want to come on, like, I mean, if you're watching this, like, we will have you on. We can't pay you because we're broke, but like, we'll have you on.
facts,
Anyway,
facts.
like there's this one account I followed, and like basically they were being harassed on Discord to like kill themselves by like accounts who I follow, like people I consider
Yeah, that's
myself
nasty.
friends.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was just like, whoa, that, wow.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like, that shit is not okay.
Yeah, people. A lot of people think they can do whatever online too. So you got that. It's not great, but I guess we should
Yeah.
probably get back to Akira though. I mean,
Yeah, we
it all
should.
kind of does come back because to Akira in a way. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Because, I wish the internet was part of Akira, but no. Okay.
that would be interesting. Maybe like a new updated version of Akira or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. A new Katsuhiro Otomo manga. I would die
Yeah,
for that. Not die, but like kill for that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
you, but like
Yeah,
someone.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Someone.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're like, yeah, you wouldn't kill me, right? But like,
yeah,
you'd
yeah,
kill someone, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Somebody, someone bad. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So essentially, in the scene, also, we were talking about we were also introduced to like Kei's storyline, which was pretty cool. Kei and Ryu is sort of parallel to Kaneda, and they meet up when so that so what happens before that, before the two meet up, is the biker gang gets caught. The police are called in the biker gang with Kaneda, Yamagata, Tetsuo, and Kai, who is the other friend who will be a main character. Um, and they go into the old city. Tetsuo kind of goes a little berserk, um, and starts beating on some clowns and like
Mhm.
follows them and like kicks their ass and like does all the stuff. And it's a
I
good
mean, they
scene.
did deserve it. They did deserve it. I will
They
say they
they
did. They did. I think.
oh no, this is before that scene.
Oh, it's before that scene.
I'm thinking of like the first one where he hits the one with like the pipe.
Okay, okay, okay. Well,
Yeah, but yeah, they totally deserved it. They totally deserved it.
the
Anyway,
clowns seem sucky anyway. I mean,
yeah, fuck the
yeah,
clowns.
yeah, fuck them.
Anyway, they then he comes in contact with Takashi number 26 who teleported out. They get taken by the army. The army puts them in a holding cell. They get interrogated. They get released. Kaneda takes K.
Hmm.
What do you think of Kaneda and K's interactions? Because I feel like it's kind of played off for like comedic effect,
Hmm.
but just because of the pace and the tone of the movie, I feel like it kind of works, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because it wasn't really something that was the focus. It was just kind of a side thing that was just like, oh, we're just gonna have this here, kind of just to have it here. It kind of felt like just to kind of tie them back together, which kind of had to happen for some of the major things that did end up happening. They kind of had to be involved. So I thought it was fine. It didn't hurt the movie at all. But I mean, I feel like it could have been more given, if it was something different. But obviously, like with the way the movie was paced and the tone, like you were saying, it's not going to really work to have like 'cause I mean, for me, I kind of saw it as the beginnings of like a romance or something. That's not going to really be
Yeah,
able to work into this quick pace of a movie. It's just not going to happen.
no.
Considering what they were trying to do, yeah, it would have to be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I get it. But I thought it was fine personally. I didn't really have
Oh
any
no.
issues with it.
I mean, I don't dislike it. I think anything they do in this movie, even when it's poorly executed, is still like well executed. You
Yeah,
know,
compared to other things, like yeah.
compared to like
Won't
Demon
say,
Slayer.
yeah. Yeah, if we're comparing it to Demon Slayer, it's like levels, levels for sure.
Dude, I met a guy last night who was like, Demon Slayer's peak, dude. Demon Slayer's my favorite anime. And I was just
Uh,
like, you should watch more shows. I have some
yeah,
recommendations for you.
yeah. Yeah, if you think that you're the problem with the anime community, uh,
Okay, anyway.
uh,
Um, One thing I noticed sort of like after this and like going to the next scene, because like then Kei runs away from Kaneda when she sees Ryu, who's one of the other revolutionaries,
right.
which it's kind of built up like they have a romance and like do you
I, it, I saw it as like father daughter more so,
that's
I guess.
kind of what it's like. Okay, River, do you want manga spoilers or do you want me to let you read it?
I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna read it, so I mean, if this will like help me understand better, why not? Fuck it,
Okay,
sure.
so in the manga, like Ryu and Kei are very much like not romantically involved, but you can tell there's something there. And
Hmm.
like in one scene, I believe in volume five, Ryu begins working for. Okay, so there's a lot of context behind this. I'll just say Ryu ends up kissing Kei, and
Okay.
Kei's like very conflicted because she loves Ryu, but she also loves Kaneda.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So I guess that was something that maybe was misportrayed in the movie because he also looked considerably older than her, which I mean, I don't know if that's actually true or not. Uh, I don't know if that's told in the manga.
Jamie,
Probably
pull it
not.
up. Jamie,
Jamie.
Jamie. I don't know. Joe Rogan podcast. We probably shouldn't make references to that. We'll get canceled. Um. Okay.
Probably okay.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Anyway, like So the next scene is like Tetsuo in the hospital, and they show the patterns. And whenever I see the patterns, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to get from this.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, I don't know.
I, the only thing I thought was like the brain weight, but then that didn't even make sense because then at the like towards the end, when like there was like a baby in it and then like a force,
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck? Ah, that was weird. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like that's not the only thing that's like that in the movie though. There are other things where you're just like, what is this supposed to mean? Like it looks like it's supposed to mean something, but I really don't know. Like, but
yeah.
yeah.
So
I
anyway,
guess the fact that you don't know means that it probably was something that is just not known. Because I know you know a lot more than I do, obviously. So
I mean,
you
I'm sure there's like, I'm sure it's out there what it is, but like,
know. Okay.
it's so inconsequential to like the
Yeah.
actual
Right. Right.
plot
Right.
that
Right.
like,
Right.
you know,
Why look into it? It's just whatever.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. That's kind of my opinion. At least.
Oh,
Um,
I did not like the doctor either. The doctor just seems sucky, but
yeah,
he didn't get us a lot of screen time though. But I didn't like him. He gave me like what other doctors and like other anime they give you like the what's the word for it, like
Dow Tucker.
raunchy, like yeah, like that type of just bad. I'm trying to think. I was thinking like snotty, but that's not the word. It's something like that though. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna think of it, but yeah, then no, sucky, just bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and like straight up, the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah, we can just like fucking drug this kid up and like give him destructive
So
powers."
fucked. They literally did all this to themselves. It's so stupid. Like,
Yeah,
oh gosh,
and like,
I don't know.
yeah, it's just the whole movie is just like a commentary, I think, on the military-industrial complex. Really.
Yeah. That definitely is in there without a doubt. It's fucked. But yeah. I guess it feels like we never learned. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
because
it's
what
just
this was in the 1980s, and here we are in 2022, and just whatever.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Japan is very much. I don't know. I think like it's also hard for us as Americans, and being in 2022. Like
Hmm.
I want to say 34 years after the movie came out.
Hmm.
Is my math right? Yeah, yeah. To say like, oh yeah, like you know, this is exactly what it means because
Hmm.
in Japan in the 1980s, of course, it had this meaning or that
Right,
meaning
right.
or like
Because that,
um
yeah, right.
so essentially like we have to like try to put ourselves in that position, and that's a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely. And I did find it interesting as well that it was war that's supposed to take place in 2019, which is now past. So
Yeah,
it definitely it still feels kind of futuristic, even though it's technically not now, which is kind of funny. But
yeah, like all the buildings and stuff. Okay, uh well, I guess we could get to this later. I'm gonna try to run through the plot a bit faster just because
oh,
we've been.
sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, yeah,
We've
yeah.
been getting off task for sure.
But like that's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where the podcast gets good.
Facts.
Um, so next we see a terrorist attack at the mall because Tetsuo. Ah, fuck! I didn't take good notes. I'm like looking at my notes. I'm like, okay, trying to remember. So the kids go back to school. They get beat up. Girls show up. We don't really need to go through that. Tetsuo comes. We're introduced to Kaori. Tetsuo comes and meets Kaori. Fun fact: Kaori is not introduced until volume 4 of the manga, which in the manga
Hmm.
canon takes place after all of this,
So after the whole thing,
after the whole movie.
what? That's so weird.
Yeah,
Okay. because played an important role in the actual movie.
Oh, I feel so bad for Kaori.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Every time I watch a Kaori scene, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah. I guess in a way they were like together in the end, but like it still sucks. Like,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
Tetsuo definitely not a good guy.
I don't know, cause to me, I thought that he was just clearly under the influence of like he had no control over himself after he got his powers. Like, cause beforehand he seemed like a genuine good guy. Like he seemed like he was nice, cool, whatever. But it just seemed I feel like we like whoever this would could have happened to would have turned out very similar because
Yeah.
it just brings out the worst of you and clearly because I mean sure it had like some of his feelings came out like when he was talking to fuck why is the main character's name slipping my
Kaneda.
mind? Canada, yeah, and he was like, "You always help me, you always save me, always treat me like a kid, whatever." I'm sure he felt like that deep down, so I wasn't like it was completely not him, but it clearly was like he clearly was being controlled by the power and the he had no control over himself. It did seem like so.
You know what's interesting actually is in the film, Kaneda and Tetsuo are sort of juxtaposed as like rivals even in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the manga, they're way closer.
Yeah, it did seem like they tried to kind of throw that in at the end a little bit, like, oh, they're like super close when it was like they hadn't really done that throughout the rest of the movie. So
Yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah,
like the flashback scene, they try to make it like, oh, they were close the whole time, but they hadn't really shown that enough. I felt like personally. So.
yeah. There was a lot of stuff I think that got left out just due to time constraints.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, all right. So anyway, more notes I took. Um, so basically, the colonel gets questioned by some guy, and they're like, "There are just so many scenes that I'm thinking of. Let's just make it real cut and dry." Um, Colonel gets brought before an inquiry. He gets essentially dismissed, and like they're like, "Hey, we're gonna like talk to you." Colonel then walks out, and it's like, "Fuck that." Um, Kaneda and Kei meet each other. Kaneda saves Kei. Kei ends up shooting someone, so Kei takes Kaneda to a safe house.
Right.
Um, this is and this is after, of course, Tetsuo steals Kaneda's bike from school, rides it with Kaori after the two of them meet. Um, they get caught by the clowns. Um, Tetsuo then Kaneda then comes and saves Tetsuo from the clowns. Tetsuo and
And
Kaori.
and this is the scene where Kaori was like, Kaori just the whole movie just bad stuff just needs to happen to her, which as we said earlier. But yeah, this is the scene where they definitely deserve getting the shit beat out of them. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Like, yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
would have done this exact same, probably
we're
worse.
on the
So
same wavelength.
same way, yeah, exactly.
What? And so yeah, so after that, Kay goes to a terrorist attack. She goes out. They go to a safe house. Kaneda comes, saves her from some military police. They go to the safe house. Then Ryu and the others come. Kaneda is essentially brought into the revolutionary group.
Hmm.
Um, for some reason, as like Kay's, um, friend.
Oh yeah, and that wasn't like because that would have been a moment to make it clear on the relationship between Ryu and Kay when like he was talking about him being her boyfriend or him being her boyfriend or whatever, and like Ryu really didn't say anything. I feel like maybe you could have said something there, and that would have made it more clear. I could
Yeah,
through that they could have tossed that in there, but they didn't. So I don't know.
I think in the movie their dynamic is different.
Yeah. I'm guessing maybe they just weren't going for that, which is possible because they don't have to
Yeah,
follow the manga exactly or anything. So
absolutely, absolutely.
did the
Um,
mangaka have a like was he supervising the movie at all, or was it just kind of
oh, he was the director.
Oh, okay, that's sick. That's sick.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Katsuhiro Otomo.
Nice, nice, nice.
I don't think he's written a manga since, but he's done a ton of movies.
Okay, okay. So
He's
he just kind of branched out right after this. He was like, "Oh, I see what I like now." Like, yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. I kind of want to see what his movie catalog looks like.
Yeah,
Um,
look at it. He's done like a lot of my favorite anime movies. He was, I think, CGI design on Metropolis. He directed one of the shorts in Neo Tokyo. He directed art design and story direction for um, Robot Circus,
hmm,
Robot Carnival, excuse me, which we reviewed on this channel.
nice.
And then he also directed and wrote the stories that the shorts were based on in Memories, which in my opinion, Memories is the best vignette style anime film. Well, at least the first one, the space one, which was directed by Satoshi Kon. Which are you familiar with
I've heard
Satoshi
that
Kon?
name. I've heard that name before, but I don't know what he's done. But I've definitely heard the name.
So Satoshi Kon has done Paprika,
Okay, okay,
Perfect
okay.
Blue, Tokyo Godfathers, which is my favorite Satoshi Kon movie. Um, Paranoia Agent, which is a great
Heard
anime
of
that
that one as
kind
well.
of loses steam in the middle, but I watched it and I enjoyed it. Um, what else has he done? He's done a few films. I've seen. I don't know how many I've seen. Yeah, yeah. I think those are all the ones I've seen.
All right, all right. Also, I do find it interesting. He also did a movie, Neo Tokyo.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. That's what I said.
oh, you did. You did mention that already. Well, that was just a big part of. There was like the Neo Tokyo is like where they're at, I guess, in Akira too. So I found that I just connected that. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, Neo Tokyo is like a recurring place. I think mostly in '80s anime.
Okay. Okay.
Because there's this I don't know why they have this idea that Tokyo will be reborn, but you just kind of do.
Has it been? I guess maybe it has.
I don't know. We should
I'm
go.
I should. Yeah. 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 Tokyo looks like such a sick place, but
Yeah,
uh, I know it's like so expensive to live there. Oh my goodness.
yeah. It's also like, from what I hear, it's pretty safe though if you're a tourist.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
All
That's
right, so
cool.
back to the plot. Um, Tetsuo has like sort of a psychic awakening. The babies, number 26, 27, and 25, or 28, sorry,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
attack
Right.
him.
Right. Right.
Masaru, Takashi, and Kyoko. Um, and his new psychic awakening, he uses his powers, defeats them, breaks out of his room, goes to the baby room, essentially like starts fighting them. Kei, Kaneda, Ryu, and the rest of the revolutionaries um, infiltrate the base of the military, and like they get caught, but eventually Kaneda and Kei make it to the baby room, and Ryu survives, which we find out later. Um, and from there, we have this interaction where Kaneda, Kei, and the kids see each other, and like the kids control Kei's mind, and like
That
he's
was
about
gonna
to.
be one of my questions. Is was K because they I think the girl won 28, I think, or whatever. She like was saying like, okay, like came to us or something like that. What was K how was K involved with them or whatnot? That's something I was kind of confused about.
So
Like,
essentially, like they said, Akira's power lies within everyone. And
okay.
so in the manga, Kei is like someone who's naturally has very strong psychic abilities.
Mm, got it.
And so like
Got
in
it.
the film it's the same thing.
Okay.
And Kei is essentially like used by them to combat Tetsuro because
Right.
she
Right.
is stronger with their help than they are.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So I guess what could she have been like at Tetsuo's actual level if given if she was put in that position? I guess she probably would, or maybe even stronger, given the fact that she didn't have any of the actual treatment and was still able to compete with him actually, which is kind of crazy to think
Um,
about, I guess.
she gets some treatment in the manga,
Oh,
but
okay.
not from like the military. From Lady Miyako, who is. Do you see the lady with like the afro in? She kind of sounds like a man in the anime.
I cannot remember. Was she with the Revolutionary Army? Or
She
no?
was with the Akira like New Worlders, on the
Uh,
street with the painting and the giant red brush.
what's her name?
Lady Miyako.
Lady. Let's see. Uh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize this was her. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought I was a man. Yeah. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Was that also in the beginning? Was she the one that where they were in the middle of the street and they're like, "Oh, you can't be here." And then they're like when they were writing the red on like the bridge or whatever. That
yeah,
was her
yeah,
too. Okay, okay,
yeah, yeah. She's a very main character in the manga, and her portrayal is really different. Also, one of my favorite characters from like most of the manga just is completely omitted from the film. Her name is Chiyoko. She's like this big badass woman who carries giant guns and
oh
shoots
shit.
people. She's fucking awesome. She's cool as fuck. That's one thing about Akira that, even though Masashi Kishimoto loved Akira, I wish he'd taken it to Naruto is like strong female characters. Because there's so many
Tsunade.
bad.
I mean,
Yeah, true, 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 true.
the
Okay,
only one.
yeah. Bro, what about Sakura, dude?
Fuck soccer.
I will say that the sorcery fight is still probably my favorite Naruto fight.
Well, I mean, she got carried by Chio, so something.
Yeah, yeah,
It
you know.
was a
But
good fight, but I'm not giving her credit for it. But it
yeah,
was a solid fight, solid fight.
yeah, it was a good fight. I
And
enjoyed
he
it.
also wasn't fine for real, but we don't have to get to that. We don't have to get
Yeah, yeah, we don't have to get into that here. This is
to that.
this is the Akira podcast. It's not the Naruto
Yeah,
podcast.
if anyone knows me, they know how I feel about Sakura, so that's enough said.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Anyway, so where were we? Basically, Tetsuo escapes, kills a bunch of people, goes to the Olympic Stadium, um, pulls up Akira, pulls up the organs of Akira, finds out Akira doesn't exist. They're
That was
like,
a pretty crazy twist. I didn't
yeah, that
expect
was
that.
a cool twist. And here's a fun fact: in the manga, Akira is alive in a person.
Wow, so even a twist on the manga. So like if you read the manga and then watched the movie, you would have been like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah, yeah,
That's interesting. I also found it interesting how he was able they were able to like call upon him and then like I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I guess
yeah,
he was also 21, so there was also people in between him and the kids now that were there as well, which they didn't really get into, but that's
yeah.
some to note, I guess.
And actually, not a well, it is kind of a spoiler, so I don't know if I should tell you, but you meet one of the another test subject, a failed
Okay,
test subject in the
right.
manga, who's a very prominent
Interesting.
character. I won't tell you who it is, but
Okay, okay. Very interesting stuff.
yes. So then Kaneda shows up. K fights. K shows up. K fights Tetsuo. K fails. Kaneda shows up with one of those like light rail guns. Loses battery. Can't fight him. They use Soul, this satellite that shoots laser beams to attack Tetsuo. Blows off his arm. Tetsuo goes up to space, destroys Soul.
I wasn't saying he was just able to do that. He just went straight up
Yeah,
and just.
yeah, that was
Uh,
sick.
yeah, that was sick. I was like,
Yeah,
damn, damn, he's insane for sure, and he made it up there pretty fast too. I will say so.
yeah.
Yeah, just insane levels of ability, but
And it's the weirdest part is like Akira was even stronger than Tetsuo.
yeah, Akira just based off him barely like coming back to help, insane. Like that was like probably what like barely any of his ability, and like it was just able to basically decimate everything and kill Tetsuo, and just
Yeah,
crazy, crazy.
yeah. I mean, it was just radical. You know, it was
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. Um, so they fight, they lose. Tetsuo eventually comes to the Olympic Stadium, finds a seat there, sets up all the little tanks of Akira's organs. Um, and then Kaneda goes back with Kai and Kei. Yamagata got killed by Tetsuo. Um,
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
yeah, that was sad.
It was off
Yamagata,
screen too. It just kind of like, damn.
it was like, yeah. In the manga, Yamagata gets killed by Tetsuo too. So, but in very
Was
different
that actually on
ways.
screen? Okay, so I'm guessing it was then.
It
Okay,
was on screen.
fair enough. Or
Um,
on page.
yeah.
I guess just to say that.
On page.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm feeling on page today.
Yeah, there we go. uh,
Yeah. Um, and so Cowrie shows up to the Olympic Stadium, which really wish she didn't do that. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It almost worked. Like right when you were like, okay, maybe she's actually kind of bringing him out of it, and then everything just gets fucked. So
Yep. Yep. And so Tetsuo, the colonel, excuse me, shows up to the stadium, tries to talk Tetsuo into coming back. Tetsuo freaks out.
what?
Kaneda shows up.
Why
What's
didn't he
up?
just? What was he trying to do? Why didn't he just shoot him? Why would you try to bring him back at this point? For what and why and what were you going to get out of it? Like so stupid.
I think it's
Like
like another like thing about like he's so military. Like that's the thing is like the colonel's character in the anime is not nearly as good as his character in the manga.
okay,
Oh wait, let me adjust this. I think in the manga the colonel is a lot more nuanced,
hmm
whereas in the anime he's very much like I'm a military man. I
that's about
believe
it.
in justice, and he just has this ethos and this very straight arc. And, like that's not a bad thing. You need characters like that.
Yeah,
Um, but like I don't know. I guess Akira isn't really like a character driven anime.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more of a I guess like thought provoking based. I guess because I wouldn't really say story. Like I wanted to say story, but I don't really have to. But I feel like it wasn't even necessarily the story as much as like trying to talk about certain things and make commentary on those things. I guess you
Yeah,
could say.
yeah. I absolutely agree. Which I think it does a good job. So
For sure.
anyway, they fight. Tetsuo freaks out. Tetsuo expands, loses total control of his powers, turns into a giant baby. You see his testicles fucking drop out. I don't know if you caught that.
I don't think I did, no, but that's kind of
No, it's
crazy.
gross. It's gross.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, not very pleasant
He,
to watch.
yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen that baby before. I think like pictures like somewhere. So found that interesting, or at least something inspired by it. Maybe that was in a different anime too. I don't know, something similar. But yeah,
Yeah. Um, and so the three kids, Kyoko, Takashi, and Masaru, come and like try to summon Akira. They're successful. Akira essentially like blows everything up. Kaneda survives, sees a bunch of Akira's memories and a bunch of Tetsuo's memories. And at the end of the film, we see Kei, Kai, and Kaneda together, and they ride their bikes into the ruined city, and this message plays of like I forget exactly what it is.
what was it? It was maybe one day we can become this because it's already started or something like that. I
Because
don't
it has
know.
already begun. It has
Already
already started to
begun.
begun, or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
some philosophical like.
Yeah, yeah. I am curious to see what you like think that means or what you have come to know that means maybe. Cause I'm still trying to figure it out myself, I guess. So
I think it's like the idea is that we have started to move towards a more progressive society,
mhm.
Um, you know, um, that's essentially what I think.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. It's I don't know if it's internal to the movie or if it's more like external. I assume it's external. Like we would start to move towards more of an egalitarian and like progressive society that values others and like supporting each other more than like this sort of militaristic, fascist, like
Right.
divided up, nationalistic like view that is sort of ever present in the film. I think the whole scene at the end really represents new birth
Okay.
and the renewal of, because like they talk about like, oh, it was essentially the creation of a new universe.
Yeah. Yeah. They did. They did.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
see that. I can definitely see that. Because it didn't seem sad, I guess you could say. Like, it didn't seem sad the way it ended, the way that Akira basically, I don't know, like when he kind of just like did what he did, decimate everything. It didn't seem necessarily sad. Like, it wasn't trying to make you sad. It seemed like it was a rebirth. So yeah, I definitely felt that in a way for
it
sure.
was almost like hopeful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
in a
we
way.
can move on past like what we've made ourselves into something new
Hmm.
and beautiful.
Yeah, and even when they were like riding on the bikes, they seemed happy. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, River. What would let me pull up the rating system that I've used because we got to give our ratings. We got to give our ratings.
Sheesh. The moment you've all
Sheesh!
been waiting for. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so the rating categories are art, animation. Let me check the rest.
This was very well animated considering when it came out.
Oh, I think it's the best looking anime movie of all time. Like that might be a
Wow,
hot
yeah.
take, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen many, but I'm not mad at that take whatsoever. Yeah.
Robot Carnival notes. Then characters, other plot, characters, other overall.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So, like, is the overall like combination of all of those, or just whatever you want it to be?
It's kind of like whatever you want it to be. It can
Okay.
either be like
Okay.
the average or like some of the parts, or essentially like what you just think overall. So
Got
for
it.
art,
Got it.
I'm giving it a 10. I think this thing looks gorgeous. You know, 10
Okay.
out of 10.
All right, all right. I think for me, I'm close to that. The only thing I would say is if I'm going based off when it came out, it would be a 10. If I'm comparing it to now, I may drop it to like a 9, 9.5, just because I don't think it completely holds up, but it holds up just as probably as well as anything ever could hold up.
See,
Like
like, I
it's
totally agree.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, for me, I prefer the 80s art style and the 80s colors and the 80s, all that stuff. Like, I prefer that. So, like, for me, it's a 10. But, like, I
Got it.
get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like
if you compare it to, like, fucking, Demon Slayer, like,
right, right, right,
in
right.
terms of art. Well, actually, Demon Slayer's art's ass. It's the animation that's good.
Yeah, the art's kind of mid. I'd say maybe like Made in Abyss has really good art. So if you've seen that,
Yeah. I've been meaning to watch it
that's
or
something I
read it, but
watched
I've
recently.
heard it's, like, really kind of fucked up. Like, not like fucked up,
Yeah,
like, there's some
yeah.
pedophilia type stuff in the
Oh no,
manga.
I haven't seen that really.
I
I
heard it's
don't
in the
think.
manga, so I was like,
Okay,
ooh,
maybe
maybe I
it's
don't want to
later.
read this.
But no, yeah, like from what I've seen so far, it's not really. It's fucked up, but not in that way. At least I didn't see that. I guess So, but I'm caught up with it. It's really, I think it's really, really good. So,
Okay,
I mean, I would recommend it. I mean,
yeah. If I had to compare it to like, I mean, if I had to compare the art to like what I saw from the season two trailer, Vinland Saga, yeah, like that
mm,
looks better. But like,
yeah, yeah. Even season
it's
one,
close.
man, Finland's. I cannot wait for season two. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about like the new chapters that are coming out. I'm just like, I wait for
Really?
the physicals. I wait for the physicals. Stop tweeting about this. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not really on that side, I guess, of Twitter that talks about it as much. But if they are talking good things, I cannot wait to see what happens. Because man, this is gonna be really exciting. Anyways, yeah. So for me, I'll give it. Fuck, I'll give it a 10. I'll give it a 10. Fuck it, I'll just give it a 10. Um,
Okay.
why not? Why not?
What
I
would you
think I think it
give?
deserves it. I think it deserves it.
What would you give animation?
Animation, I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, I think like there's some choppy scenes, but like it came out in the '80s. I agree.
Yeah,
I
I really thought the animation was well done. It wasn't like normal animation. They were pretty creative. I felt like with the animation style, so I like that, and I think it definitely is solid, and it holds up for sure. Like I think it holds up better than like Yu Yu Hakusho, which I think is another anime that holds up pretty well. But even
yeah.
that has a lot more things that aren't as good about its animation, like certain fights that aren't really done well. But I think this overall was done very, very well. So
Yo, have you seen Trigun?
I haven't yet. No, no, that's
Yo, if you like Yu Yu Hakusho, I think you'd like Trigun.
yeah, yeah. I've definitely heard good things. I definitely want to check it out. I know there was a new movie that's coming out or came out already for it too. I
Yeah,
think.
I heard it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, yeah. There was definitely looks some CGI, pretty heavy CGI. I saw so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty heavy CGI is never really a good sign for me, but you know,
No, this sort of would ruin Berserk.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Haven't even read Berserk yet, but it already like hurts me to even think about that.
yeah, you should read Berserk.
Regardless, I will. I will. That's
I
after the One Piece Virgins podcast we're doing. I plan on doing a Berserk one of those. So
Oh,
you
if you
know,
want to have me on that, or like not every episode, but
word
just like maybe
word.
once in a while, I'd love to pop on. There are probably
For
better
sure,
people to
for sure.
talk to about it. Like I don't know, like you could have. I talked to Victor about like being on this pod, and he was like, "Yeah, my English isn't that amazing," and I was like, "Damn, okay," because I really want him on the
Okay.
pod because I think he has some great
Yeah.
takes.
I think that I've had some people say that too, but I feel like if you're like, I think you can do it. I think you'll be fine. You know, just try it out. You know, usually they can come around eventually if they actually want to come on because people are nervous. But at least from my experience, if I'm able to talk, I'm usually able to talk people into it. But I'm pretty persuasive, I guess. So,
Yeah, speech
maybe that's
skill
just me.
99.
Something like that. You know, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So plot, I know you said it wasn't really plot driven, but I do like the plot. I think it's pretty nuanced. Oh, one
Yeah.
thing I forgot to talk about in the oh wow, my computer's hot as hell 'cause it's hot as fuck in my room. One thing I forgot to talk about that I think is like very interesting is that like the scenes have like a 3 act structure even. Like the
You
scenes
did
just
mention that. You did
transition
mention
it
that.
into each other so well. Like
Hmm.
it just
Hmm.
feels like the story moves so fast, and I think it's because everything is hitting you with like it progresses like every other scene is like a new story and a new story and a new story,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
flow into each other so well. So for that, I'm giving plot like a 10.
That's fair. That's fair. But
That
yeah,
might be
like
a hot take, but
now that you mention it, like every time we fade into black and then start with like some complete like go to a completely different place, area, different scene, it definitely was pretty distinct in that regard. I would agree that is cool. I think for me the plot was good. It wasn't. I think they definitely compare because I had to compare it to other things to kind of get the rating. I think compared to other things, it probably doesn't stack up like as well to for me to give it a 10 personally. But I think it was very solid. I think I'd give it probably a 8 for plot. Probably a 8. Yeah, I say 8. I'd say because I feel like it wasn't as obviously it's a movie, so it's gonna be shorter. But I feel like it could have been more drawn out, which may come in the manga, and more things could have been expanded on that weren't. So I feel like from that regard, wasn't quite there, but it did the job and it kept me engaged. So, you know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally understand.
give it
Yeah,
a give it a
characters. I give characters like, I don't think characters are the strongest aspect of Akira.
hmm
Um, I think Kaneda is sort of a weak main. It's not really the point, and there's so many characters, and it flashes between them so frequently that like.
right,
So I'm gonna give it like a 5.
right. I may be more generous. I was thinking a 7, but now after you kind of said that, I think I drop it to a 6, just because I do agree. But I think some characters were good, but there were definitely a lot that left a lot to be desired. Now, I think it worked fine. So that's why I was probably thinking about giving it a 7. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking over the characters again. I think there were more characters that weren't as good as opposed to more characters that were better. So I'll say 6. 6, yeah, because I don't think it hurt the story. So I'll say 6. I'll say
No,
6.
I think they served a function. They all
Yeah,
served
yeah.
a very important purpose, and they moved the story along.
hmm hmm
And like that was good, but I don't think they were like, it's not a character driven story.
I feel like for me, like 5 would be like right on the average. Like it doesn't hurt, doesn't make it better. I feel like there was enough done with the characters for it to be a little bit better than average. So like
Yeah, yeah,
it wasn't the bare minimum. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like there was a little bit more than that. So I'll give it a 6. I give it a 6.
yeah. Okay, and then other like just anything else miscellaneous. Like for me, the world building I thought was really cool. I really enjoyed like some of it falls into art, some of it falls into other things. But like I just thought, the world of Neo Tokyo was so neat. Like I'm giving it like I want to give it a 10. Do you think that's reasonable?
Yeah, wouldn't this also be
Oh yeah,
like
and
the
music
talking
falls into
points?
this.
Oh, music. The music was sick, to be fair. The music
Yeah,
was great. Um
yeah,
Yeah, and I guess this would also be kind of certain talking points that were kind of brought about and like thought provoking things and stuff like that. So I feel like that would fall under here because that's not quite exactly the plot, I guess. So
yeah.
I'll probably say 9 for
Okay,
other. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
And
Because
then
I feel like a lot of
overall,
the as a movie, because I don't want to compare it to shows. I feel like that's a little bit unfair. I'll give it. I think I'll give it a 9. I think I'll give it a 9. Um, yeah, personally. I feel like it
I
did. I feel like it did what it did very well.
I
Um,
think I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
okay, okay.
Not to
I'll,
be
I'll
not
say
to
I'll,
like
I'll I'll say eight
not
point
to
five.
one up
I'll
you.
say 8.5. I'll say 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 8.5.
Yeah.
8.5.
Well, River, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about. It's been an hour. I feel like we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there's always more we could talk about with this,
There
but
is more we could talk about.
we could be here for hours on end at this
We could
point.
be here for hours on end.
I do know that you said that there was more stuff that you probably could discuss with it. So I would be curious if you did want to add, if you wanted to add anything. I would be curious to hear that as well. I mean, for
Yeah,
like briefly.
there's a lot of shit that's added to the movie just because it looks cool.
Okay.
Like it kind of serves a purpose of the plot, but mostly it's just there because it looks cool. Like
Got it.
that scene with the bikers in the beginning, like I said, doesn't happen in the manga. It kind of shows the dynamic between Tetsuo and Kaneda,
hmm
but like mostly it's just there because it looks dope. It looks dope. Like that's the point of like, and like that's what I like about 80s anime is that like it's style over substance. It's like a
hmm
John Woo movie if you've seen like any of those.
I've not. I'm not. Maybe. Well, maybe I have. I just don't know. But
Okay, yeah, it's very dope. It's very dope, and I think you know if you're looking for something to watch that will keep you engaged, that is eye candy, that is that has the historical relevance, I think like Akira is it.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it there.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah,
River?
thanks for having me. It was it was a pleasure to be here. Great being
Yeah.
on. Definitely glad I finally checked out the movie because it's something I've been meaning to do for a while. I know it's obviously a pretty much a cultural icon in the West, especially. So, yeah, it was dope to see that. Dope to talk about it. Definitely enjoyed it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure to have you on, River. Like,
Thank
you're
you.
my homie, you know.
Of course,
I
of
love your
course.
opinions. Love talking to you. So, anyway, thank you. This has been the 80s Anime Podcast. Follow River on Twitter at
Feel
the
free.
Flow
Feel free.
River, capital T, capital F, capital R. We have River's YouTube channel in the description. Make sure to subscribe, like all their videos. If you made it this far in this video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us all that stuff if you want to. We just do
Definitely
this
do
for
that.
fun. We just do this for fun.
And if you come here for me, you know what to do. Show some love. So, you know.
Yeah, show some love to River, you know. Anyway, have a great day. Peace.
There you go. Peace.